Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday in Major League Baseball. First up, the Atlanta Braves taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Reynaldo Lopez and Cole Irvin are your starters. I'm looking at the Atlanta Braves team total in this one. Cole Irvin's pitched well this year, 2.87 ERA, of course, a 6-2 record, but I do expect regression going forward. We're already starting to see that. His last two starts, 16 base hits given up in those two games against the Rays. He only gave up 2 runs apiece in those starts, but a lot of base runners, a home run each in those starts, and the expected numbers aren't the sharpest for him. Now, you're facing a Braves team that's been decent against lefties in the last 30 days, and I think they'll be able to get to Irvin early in this one. So I would take Irvin's earned runs over, but also just the Braves team total over. Now, when it comes to the matchup for the Orioles against Lopez, Lopez has pitched very, very well. However, it's tough to go against these Orioles because they've been the best lineup in baseball against righties in the last 30 days, even better than the Yankees when you look at isolated powers. So for me, I just want to isolate this game to the Braves matchup against Irvin. Give me the team total over for Atlanta. Next up, the Washington Nationals taking on the Detroit Tigers. Mackenzie Gore for Washington, and we're going to see Casey Mize on the other side for Detroit. And Casey Mize is not really in great form. I don't love the fact that his strikeout numbers have really dwindled this year. Only 39 Ks in 59 innings. Only had 1 strikeout through 5 1/3 in that last one against Milwaukee. And while the Tigers have still won 3 of his last 4 games, he's just not pitching too well. He's not pitching deep into ball games. I think the Nationals will be able to get to him. And with Mackenzie Gore on the other side, I think he's obviously a great option for this Nationals rotation. He's got a 3.57 ERA overall this season, and even better numbers on the road through 27 2/3, 40 strikeouts, and a 2.28 ERA. Much lower opponent's batting average, and only 1 home run given up compared to 5 at home. So give me the Nationals in this game on the money line. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Kansas City Royals. Nestor Cortez and Alec Marsh are your starters. It might be square, but I like the over in this game in the Yankees-Royals. 2 good offenses. Nestor Cortez has not been great on the road this season. Alec Marsh has not been great in general recently. 4 earned, 5 earned, and 5 earned his last 3 starts. At least 1 home run in all 3 of those games. And those were some high-scoring games. 6-5, 7-3, 8-4. Royals won that last one, but lost the previous 2. So he's been a little bit all over the place. Now I'm going to face this Yankees lineup. That was against the Twins, Padres, and Mariners. None of those teams as potent as the Yankees offense. And, while the Royals offense hasn't been great in this series thus far, I still think they'll be able to get to Cortez. They're a good lineup against lefties, especially at Kaufman. And like I mentioned, Cortez at home at Yankee Stadium, a 1.77 ERA. On the road, an ERA above 6 at 6.17. Give me the over in Yankees-Royals. Next up, we see the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. We're going to see Mitch Keller and Lance Lynn as the starters. Now, I like the opposite in this one. I like the under. I think both starting pitchers pitch well. While Lance Lynn may not be my favorite option, and I do expect regression going forward, he has still a pretty good matchup here against a Pirates team. It's been so-so against righties in the last 30 days. Miles Mikolas, a similar pitcher to Lynn, pitched really well in the first game against these Pirates in the series. So I think Lynn can give the Cardinals 4, 5, maybe 6 solid innings. Mitch Keller's been really strong against these Cardinals in recent outings, and he's just been really solid in general recently, giving up 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his last 5 starts. Great strikeout numbers. The Pirates have won all 5 of his last 5 games. So give me the under here. You can take the under in the first 5, but I'll take the under in the full game of Pirates-Cardinals. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Justin Steele and Taj Bradley are your starters. Taj Bradley's been excellent at Tropicana Field this year. His big problems, and the reason why his ERA is at 5.17, has been his road starts. At 8 1/3 innings on the road, 11 earned runs given up, and 5 home runs to go with it. That's an 11.88 ERA. But at Tropicana Field, where he's pitched the majority of his starts, 23 innings, 2.74 ERA, 169 opponent's batting average, 30 strikeouts, only 3 home runs given up. So the Ks per 9 has been stronger. The home runs per 9 obviously a lot stronger. A much lower opponent's batting average. 371 on the road, 169 at Tropicana Field. So, while he's still 0-3 in his start to Tropicana Field, I think he'll be pitching well in this game against a Cubs lineup that hasn't been special in the last month. And Justin Steele, while he's pitched a lot better recently, the Cubs aren't necessarily winning his games. You look at the last 5 starts, Cubs are 1-4 in those games. He's been, improving after a rough start to the season, but the Rays, while they've been miserable against righties, have actually hit lefties pretty well recently. And I think they can get enough here against Steele to win this game in the end. Give me Tampa Bay Rays on the money line. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the New York Mets. Roddery Munoz for Miami is going to see Luis Severino on the other side for the Mets. And, Severino's pitched well. He's been exactly what the Mets hoped for and more, than that in terms of a bounce-back season for Sevy after he struggled in 2023. And, 3.25 ERA here in the middle of June is exactly what you wanted. I think he pitches pretty well. I think he had a better start to the year than his, current form right now. But the good thing is he's coming off a really good start in that last game against the Nationals. 8 innings of 1-run ball in a 9-1 Mets victory. So I'll back Severino in this game. And on the other side, Roddery Munoz, he's got great strikeout stuff. He's so far got 22 Ks in 19 2/3 innings. The problem is the control. The walks per 9, very, very steep, and the home runs per 9. He's given up 8 home runs in 19 2/3. He's given up 6 home runs his last 8 2/3 innings. That's around a home run every other inning, and then that's just not what you want to see. Now, he's pitching at Citi Field here against a pretty weak Mets lineup, so it's a decent spot for him, a decent matchup, but I still think the Mets will grab the W in the end. So I would take the under and the New York Mets on the money line. Next are the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Boston Red Sox. Aaron Nola and Tanner Houck are your starters. I'm going to take the Boston Red Sox in this one, getting a great price. I know Aaron Nola has been a very profitable pitcher this year. I don't love the fact, though, that his strikeout numbers have really dipped this season. Less than a strikeout per inning, especially recently. He's still been very efficient, and like I said, he's pitching well, but so is Tanner Houck on the other side with a 1.91 ERA this season. He's been solid even at Fenway Park, which we know a very hitter-friendly ballpark. In 47 innings for Houck, he's got a 2.11 ERA at home. And when you look at the Philadelphia Phillies offensively against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days, it's not really been pretty. Even though the Phillies are winning games, they're 24th in isolated power against righties in the last month, 16th in team OPS, so below league average in both statistics. The Red Sox are actually top 10 in both team OPS and ISO against righties, and that includes number 3 in baseball, just behind their AL East rivals in the Orioles and Yankees in isolated power against right-handed pitching. So give me the Red Sox in this game on the money line. Next up, the Oakland Athletics taking on the Minnesota Twins. This is the only game that starts a new series for Thursday. The rest of the games on Thursday are continuations of series from, this week. But in this matchup, Luis Medina and Joe Ryan are your starters. And we've mentioned the Oakland Athletics offensive struggles, and this is a pretty tough spot here for Oakland because they have to play in San Diego on Wednesday, go to Minnesota. We already know their offense is struggling. You got to go on the road against a good pitching team in the Twins. Joe Ryan, still a good starting pitcher. While he hasn't been great at Target Field this year, I still think he's a good option in this rotation. To me, the Oakland A's, they're scoring. A lot of their games, we see them score, 1 or 2 runs, and it's usually on a solo home run or 2, but they're really struggling building innings. And I think, Joe Ryan may give up a home run or 2 in this game. He's had some issues with the home run ball in his career, but other than that, I think, other than a couple of mistake pitches, he should be really fine in this one. I think 6-7 strong innings, and that should be enough for a Twins win in the end. Medina, while he pitched really well in his season debut against the Braves, he was not good at all against the Blue Jays in the next one, giving up 6 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings, 5 walks to go with it, with only 1 strikeout and a 7-0 blowout loss. I got to go with the Twins in this one and the under in this game. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Griffin Canning and Brandon Pfaadt are your starters. Now, it may look tempting to take the plus money here with the Angels on the road, but I can't get there with this lineup or bullpen. And even Griffin Canning, while he's improved from a tough start to the season, still not my favorite option to back in this one. I think Arizona can get to him for a few runs and still add a few runs on the Angels bullpen. And while Brandon Pfaadt, we've mentioned the inconsistencies in his game, he's been a lot better at Chase Field this year. 3.77 ERA there in 31 innings of work. And I think he'll pitch well here against the Angels, a bounce-back start for him after a tough outing against the Padres. So give me the Arizona Diamondbacks here, laying the 1.5 runs on the run line. Next up, the Chicago White Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. Garrett Crochet and Luis Castillo are your starters. I'm still not in love with this Mariners lineup, and I think with a team like Seattle, I've mentioned they've been winning a lot of ball games recently, especially at home. But they're still a team that you just don't have a lot of faith in their offense to, like I've mentioned, some of the more other competitive teams in the American League, like the Orioles, the Yankees, you just feel, and even the Guardians these days, you just feel like they're going to be able to go out there and score you 4 or 5 runs a game. It's just because their offense has just been so solid all season long. But the Mariners, they usually have to fight for those runs, and we've seen them go stretches in series where they just get blanked offensively. And with a team like that, I just don't want to be laying these kind of prices with them when they're not even guaranteed to show up offensively, especially against a starter like Garrett Crochet, who's got a 3.33 ERA this season. He's in great form, giving up 2 earned runs or fewer in his last 5 starts. Great strikeout numbers to go with it. The White Sox, one of the worst teams in baseball, even they are still 3-2 in his last 5 games, with wins over the Nationals, Blue Jays, and Red Sox in that stretch. I think if Crochet gives the White Sox 6 solid innings, which he's been able to do so, 6+ innings in his last 4 games, the White Sox have a very good shot in this game. Now, their bullpen's been miserable, not just this series, but just in the last month in general. But Luis Castillo gave up 5 runs in his last game. I've mentioned that he just hasn't looked the same, in my opinion, on the mound. While the numbers on paper are still solid, I'm still not in love with his game overall, and I think the White Sox can get to him for a few runs. It should be enough to cover the run line in the end at least, and if not, win the game outright. So I'm going to take the 1.5 runs and the money line with the Chicago White Sox in this one. And the final game we're going to talk about for the Thursday card of Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Michael Lorenzen and Yoshinobu Yamamoto are your starters. We've mentioned the regression concerns for Michael Lorenzen. We started to see that in the last game against the Giants. Only went 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 2 runs. Those were both home runs to Wilmer Flores. He was honestly fortunate that that was the only damage in that game. There's a reason why he only went 4 1/3 innings. He only had 1 strikeout, 7 base hits given up. I don't love him in this spot against the Dodgers. A very, very good lineup. Usually a team that takes advantage of its opportunities with runners on base, runners in scoring position. And Yamamoto, while it's been an up and down season, he's still got a 3.0 ERA on the year, coming off a great start against the New York Yankees. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, no runs against one of the best lineups in baseball. The Dodgers are 4-1 in his last 5 starts, and 3 of those wins were run line covers as well. So give me the Dodgers in this one on the money line and run line at Dodger Stadium. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.